Hello, Mr. Bob here. During this video series, I'm going to show you how to make and how to throw a sling a la David and Goliath style. During our high school overnight camps, with just a little bit of practice, many of our high schoolers have been able to master this throw. Pretty cool, huh? So now, the first thing we're going to need to do is find materials to make our sling. So to make your sling, you may want to look around your house or garage or local Goodwill store and see if you can come up with any of these used or inexpensive items. I've got a couple pair of old work gloves, an old shoelace, and then I found a handbag made of some sturdy denim material, pretty inexpensive. Let's see, for $3.99. Now that you've gathered your materials to make your sling, we get to start destroying them and cutting them up. So if you remember, I have found three pieces. I have a leather glove, a work glove, and a Goodwill purchase of a little hand purse. What I've decided to do on this leather glove, because the palm is so worn out, that was the bigger area, but the palm is so worn out, I'm going to use the cuff area that seems a little thicker, might last a little longer. And of course on the work glove, this middle palm section is already torn away, so that's an obvious one. And I think I really hit the gold mine on my $3.99 purchase, this little handbag, because I think I can get 5 or 6 out of this one piece. Kind of the tools you're going to need maybe some good quality scissors to cut the leather, or perhaps a sharp knife. And again, youngsters, if you're too young, let your parents or an adult do that for you. And then you're going to need something to punch a hole in the ends of them. A hole punch might work. If not that, maybe a hammer and a nail you can take to the end and punch a little hole in it. But we'll get to that aspect a little later. Right now, let's start cutting and destroying. Yay! Yay! Okay, one down. Start cutting. Cuts pretty good. Okay, now that you've got your pouches cut, I've got 3 or 4 here. Today we're just going to work on one. I'm going to use part of my Goodwill handbag purchase. We'll use this piece here. So we've got to put some holes in it to tie our shoelace or paracord or whatever you're using onto it. So I found a single hole puncher works pretty good. So let's see how it works on this material. I can squeeze it in there. You don't want to make it too close to the end because it may cause it to tear away. So this one's, luckily it's got it stitched in there, but not too close to the end. You want to make your hole. So I don't know if you can see, we got one hole on that side. And now we'll swing it around. There we go. And I'm going to make one hole on this side. There we go, a nice little hole. If you need to, you can use an ice pick or maybe a nail to start your hole. Have a little board underneath it. Work that through. And you have a hole there you can push your string through. Next you'll want to cut your shoelace. You want to cut your shoelace. You don't want to cut it exactly in half because on one end you're going to tie a slip knot. So you want to leave probably about 3 inches longer on one end when you cut it. Leave about 3 inches longer on one end. Then you will tie them onto the end. You can do this in just several ways. I find the easiest way to do it is just to tie what are called 2 half hitches, but any good knot will do. So don't want to take too much more time. We'll tie one end on here. Okay. Now this is my longer one, and on this one I'm going to have to tie a slip knot. You'll take the end and you'll make a loop with the short end going over the long end. The short end going over the long end. You'll fold the loop over the long end and pull the long end through and tighten everything up. And now you have a slip knot. Gets shorter, gets bigger. This is what you're going to attach to your finger eventually when you throw. Another cool thing about this knot, if you just pull this hard, it comes out. So again, I'm going to make it bigger than you would normally do for your sling, but just so you could see it better. So you make a loop with the short end going over the long end. Fold the loop over and pull the long end through. Whoops, and tighten everything up. And there you have your slip knot. It tightens up and it loosens up. And to get rid of it, you just pull through. Now we have our finished product. We've tied both ends on, the one with the slip knot and the one without. What I like to do with the slip knot, I like to attach it to my middle finger. Some people like the ring finger, some of the index, but I like to attach it to my middle finger. So I'm going to attach it there, cinch it up. I will fold the pouch in half and then take my thumb and index finger, it's a little awkward, my thumb and index finger, and run it down the other end, and where it meets, I like to tie a little knot and a little stop there for me. So again, you have your two ends. It's attached to my finger here, the other end's here. I'll pinch the long end until I get to the knot, and then I'll hold the two pieces together. I don't know if you can see that, like that. And that's how we're gonna, I'm sorry, that's how we're gonna end up throwing it.